Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode in our AEW series in TEW2020. I, of course, am CR Daredevil, bringing you all of the action. It is our Dynamite Grand Slam event, the final Dynamite of 2019, and we have all three championships on the line as the tag team titles will be defended by the Dark Order. They will be defending against the Lucha Bros. We have the women's championship, the women's world title that is on the line as the Bunny defends against Kaylee Ray. And of course, our big main event of the night, it will be Pac defending the AEW World Championship against Matt Sydal. We also have a couple of other big matches happening tonight, including a 6-woman tag team matchup, which will see Amazing Kong, Priscilla Kelly, and Camilla Kane, taking on the team of Kylie Ray, Riho, and Tennille Dashwood. And we also have another women's match tonight, because we have 3 women's matches on the card, as Mercedes has her open challenge, where she will be facing somebody here in AEW. As well as, a couple of other matches on the show. So it should be a hell of a show. So we will get into it. First, we got to open up with Dynamite, though, or with Dark. As we open up with Dark in front of 2,066, I can't talk right now. 2,654 people at the FAU Arena. Those of you who watch the college football series on Saturdays on the channel over will get the subtle nod there. As we open up with Darby Allin defeating Kip Sabian in 741 by submission. I don't know what submission Darby's using, but Allin gets the victory by submission here. 35 rating for the match. 31 from Darby, 33 from Kip Sabian. I gotta figure out. This may be an alternate universe where Darby just doesn't get over that well, because he's just, a year in and he's a 31 in ring performance still. So he may just end up being kind of a bit player for a little bit, kind of somebody in the background really. But match gets to 35, which isn't too bad for our stuff on Dark here. Afterwards, Darby Allin is celebrating the victory when he notices Tommy End staring at him from the stage. So a little bit of a continuation of that storyline that's been going on, where Tommy End and the rest of the Dark Order have been trying to get Darby Allin to join them. Gets 39, not bad, but it does lose heat for the storyline. In another matchup on Dark, we see Ashley Lane defeating Ashley Vox in the Battle of the Ashleys in 632 by pinfall, the running big boot. 41 rating for the match, 43 from Lane, 33 from Vox. Of course, Ashley Lane having issues with Hikaru Shida recently. Neither of them are on Dynamite, so we'll have to see in the future what's going to happen with that. But for now, Ashley Lane getting a victory on Dark, that is, against Ashley Vox. And then in the main event of Dark, we see a 46 rated matchup that sees the Jurassic Express defeating Bear Country 906 when Jungle Boy gets Bear Boulder to submit. Again, this mod likes to do a lot of submissions, so we'll say it's just by pinfall instead. Well, no, I guess Jungle Boy had the snare trap, so he got the submission via snare trap. During the matchup, Richard Holiday came out and was trying to attack Jurassic Express, but accidentally hit Bear Boulder instead, which kind of led to the ending of the match. 46 rating there. Not too bad there, honestly. Gained heat for the storyline with Jurassic Express and Strickland against the Dynasty. Bear Boulder with a 44, Bear Bronson with a 48, Luchasaurus with a 38, Jungle Boy with a 47. Boulder and Luchasaurus seemed off their games. Boulder seemed off his game. Luchasaurus was really off his game. So the match could have been better, but, I'll still take it. I'll still take a 46 for the quote-unquote main event of Dark. So, not bad there. Then we go on to the main portion of the show. I apologize if you were hearing any alarms in the background. Maintenance is going around and doing testing of stuff at different apartments here at my complex today, so it's been on and off all day. Opening contest of Dynamite. We open up with a hot matchup as we have Jon Moxley defeating Jay Lethal in 156 by pinfall, the one hitter. I don't know what the one hitter is. Um, 70 rating for the match though. Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe's music played again, which distracted Jay Lethal, kind of leading to the victory for Moxley. Lethal actually outperformed Moxley, so that's kind of surprising. They have to look into that a little bit more. I mean, if Lethal's outperforming John Moxley, maybe he should be getting a bigger push than I'm already giving him. Although to be fair, I say a bigger push than he's already been given. This is only like the second or third time he's actually lost on television, so it's not like he hasn't really been getting much of a push, but he also hasn't really other than this feud with Samoa Joe, he hasn't really been doing a whole lot, so we'll have to figure that out. But 70 rating for the match, really hot way to start off Dynamite. Gained heat for the storyline with Joe and Lethal. Eventually, those two are going to end up having to come to blows in the ring again, but still isn't happening yet, as Lethal's still kind of ducking Samoa Joe. After this, Jericho comes out from out of nowhere and attacks Moxley with Floyd, that bat of his, before quickly leaving through the crowd. Because Jericho's doing this cowardly, running away from Moxley's situation as of late, so now he attacks Moxley when Moxley's not fully paying attention and a little bit weakened, and then takes off before Moxley can get his revenge on him. So 61 rating here, lost heat for the storyline, but that's fine. I'm okay with it. As Mox is gonna be hunting down Jericho again, even after that quick little strike. You gotta imagine, which is kind of obvious, because while this after that happened, after Jericho's running through the crowd over, Mox does get back to his feet slowly, a little bit slowly, but it does get back to his feet, kind of looking around for Jericho, kind of pissed about what just happened. So gotta imagine that Mox is gonna be hunting down Jericho soon enough. Then we move on to our 6-woman tag match. This gets a 49 rating, which is not bad, actually. I'll take that for what this is. As in About the Head, that did not have much heat and terrible wrestling, Tenille Dashwood and the team of Ray and Riho defeats Camilla Kane. I don't know why I keep saying Camilla Khan. Camilla Kane and Kong and Kelly in 10:42 when Riho pinned Camilla with a Samato. 49 rating for the match. Remember recently when I said that I wanted to get Riho on Dynamite and get her some victories? Yeah, this was part of that. But yeah, not too bad of a match here. Camilla with 33, Priscilla Kelly with a 39, Kong with a 51. Definitely the bigger star of the match. Dashwood with a 49, Riho with a 42, and Kylie Ray with a 35. Gained heat for the storyline there with Dashwood and Priscilla Kelly. Eventually we're going to be blowing that off, but I'm still trying to build up Priscilla Kelly a little bit. I mean, obviously, her team took a loss in this one, but she wasn't the one directly pinned. Because as you see, Priscilla Kelly's still, upper 30s performances. I want to try to get her to upper there a little bit more before I blow this off, but I might just blow it off here soon and move on. We'll see. But nevertheless, Camilla seemed off her game, so she would have had a little bit better performance had she been on her game. But a nice win for Dashwood, Kylie Ray, and Riho here on Dynamite, getting themselves a victory and getting Dashwood a little bit more momentum against Priscilla Kelly for whenever that rematch ends up happening. Then after that, we get a segment here where the Young Bucks come out and they're like, "Hey, listen, we have to call out Private Party right now. We want you guys to come out to the ring." Private Party come out, and the Bucks say, "Listen, we had a hell of a match with you on Dynamite. It was a hell of a back and forth match. Either team could have won. We ended up getting the victory, but either team could have won for sure. So we just wanted to bring you guys out here right now. We were all kind of exhausted after that match. We've had some time to rest and whatever. We just want to bring you guys out here right now, shake your hands, and kind of go from there." And Private Party, they're disappointed. They're disappointed they couldn't get the victory against the Bucks. The Jacksons go and extend their hands, for handshakes, and Mark Quinn and Isaiah Cassidy are kind of looking around a little bit. They're considering it. They kind of talk to each other a little bit, and then they do go to shake the hands, but then just move their hand, kind of do that thing where you go to shake someone's hand and you pull your hand back and you smooth your hand through your hair, kind of thing, before bailing out of the ring. So They tried to show him a little bit of respect, but unfortunately, Private Party not about it. They're kind of upset, but they're still coming off kind of a little cocky about this. 46 rating as this kind of puts this storyline officially to an end. Yeah, I've stories for both teams heading forward, so kind of blowing this off, and we're gonna be moving on to other things. But there you go, the Young Bucks coming out on top, but Private Party looked really good during this, so we'll have to see what where things go for the Private Party heading forward. Then after that, our tag team matchup for the tag team titles gets a 66 rating as the Dark Order defeat the Lucha Bros in 11:52 when Grayson pinned Phoenix with a fatality to make defense number 2 of the tag team titles. Evil Uno was a weak link. He only had a 44. 59 from Phoenix, 66 from Penta, 60 from Grayson, who seemed off his game. Grayson and Uno with excellent chemistry teaming together. 66 rating for the match. Really great stuff there for the tag team titles. As the Dark Order retained the belts against the Lucha Bros. Kind of a big victory there. The Lucha Bros had a chance to win the titles tonight, and if Pac had retained in the main event, they would have, the Death Triangle would have had 2 of the 3 belts in the company. But unfortunately, the Dark Order was just the better team on this night. Well, not unfortunately, but unfortunately for them, the Dark Order was the better team on this night. So 66 rating here, not too bad there. There was a moment in time where I thought about taking the titles off the Dark Order, but I kind of, story-wise, I kind of have some plans in motion, so I had to have the Lucha Bros lose here, so that way I can continue with the story I have planned, and then, in the near future, I'm sure the Lucha Brothers will definitely end up winning the tag titles at some point. It's just not at this moment in time. But 66 rating here. Good stuff to see there. Then after that, we have a 49 rated segment here. As I wanted to do it like this, hoping that it would start helping out. So this is why this is done this way. Where Andrea Ocampo is interviewing Cody Rhodes. Rhodes basically just kind of said, like, hey, I dealt with Adam Cole's stuff, and Cole got the best of me that night, and I'm looking to figure out what's next. I'm looking to see what's next. I mean, I'm scouting the town here in AEW, seeing if there's someone, maybe there's a young guy who I want to try to put under my wing to kind of help raise him up, or maybe just a young guy who I want to test myself against, because I'm definitely a big name here in AEW, and I want someone to come out here and prove themselves. That's kind of the whole point of AEW is we want talent that hasn't really gotten chances in the wrestling business to really get the chance to prove themselves here in this company. So I'm just looking for someone to take under a wing as a protege, or for someone to step up and prove themselves against Cody Rhodes. 49 rating here. We put Andrea Ocampo in this because I wanted to I gotta get her popularity up, so that way she can be a decent backstage interviewer for us. So that's why I did it here, especially because Cody's not really in a storyline right now, so it didn't hurt to have it. Like, it would have been different if it was like, if she was interviewing Kenny Omega about Brian Cage, because then that would have hurt the storyline, depending on the rating of the segment. So at least here, like, it doesn't hurt the storyline. So we gotta build her up some. She did improvise well throughout the segment, even though she performed poorly. So, we'll get her there. But yeah, Cody Rhodes kind of saying that he's keeping his eye open. He wants someone to step up to him. So that'll be interesting to see if someone does end up stepping up to him. Then after that, we have Mercedes with her open challenge, and it gets answered by Io Shirai of 3 Elite. Of course, Mercedes has been saying a lot about 3 Elite ever since she came here to AEW. And a member of the group is stepping up to Mercedes here tonight at Dynamite Grand Slam. And unfortunately for Io Shirai, she is not able to get the victory, as Mercedes does get the victory in 12-12 by pinfall with a wheelbarrow bulldog. 61 from Mercedes, 42 from Io Shirai. Gained heat for the storyline there with Mercedes. 55 rating for the match itself. So, a really good match here, honestly. All things considered, it's a really good match. Mercedes easily one of the better in-ring performers in the women's division right now. but I'm not going to be just, getting the title to her right away. I want to tell a story with it. If I even get the title to her, but I definitely want to tell a story with the whole thing, and so I don't want to just bury all of the current AEW talent right now just to put the title on her. But she's definitely going to be someone who I can depend on to have really great matches in the women's division for sure. So that'll be good to see. But 55 rating here for this match as Mercedes gets the victory. The rest of the 3 Elite was at ringside, and so it was kind of one of those things that, like, afterwards, while Mercedes was celebrating, she was kind of eyeing the other two, kind of I took out, I defeated one of you kind of thing. So we'll have to see where things go from there. Then after that, we get a segment where El Generico's backstage, and he's feeling that someone's watching him. He's kind of looking around his shoulder a little bit, not really noticing anybody, so just shrugs his shoulders, keeps walking on. And out from behind a box thing that was set up, they carry like backstage, that they carry like electronic gear and stuff in over. Out comes Marty Martinez. He's just kind of creepily watching Generico. So Martinez is still trying to study Generico, is what it seems like. He's still trying to study him because remember, he's trying to figure out who's under the mask. So we're not sure what the point of this was other than just watching him, studying him, being creepy about it. Who the hell knows? But Martinez is still creepily watching El Generico. We'll have to see where things go from there. Then after that, 60 rated matchup. God damn it. 60 rated matchup sees Miro and Austin Creed go to a double disqualification. It's just one of those things that they just end up brawling all over the place. Referees trying to get them to stop fighting with each other, and they don't, so the referee just calls for the bell. Double EQ. 59 for Miro, 47 from Austin Creed. They don't click and it made for an awkward bout, so might have to put an end to the storyline kind of quickly. Because I wasn't expecting that. Not that I was expecting fantastic chemistry between the two, but I was at least hoping that they at least didn't have bad chemistry, so may have to put an end to it sooner rather than later, but they go to a draw on this night. Double disqualification, fighting all over the place. 60 rating here. And we'll have to see if they end up having a rematch in the near future and, maybe some sort of like no DQ kind of match or something like that. We'll see. But 59 for Miro is a really good performance there. And we move on from that. Then we have Tony Schiavone interviewing Kaylee Ray kind of backstage before actually it's a pre-taped interview that's done before the title match tonight. Kaylee Ray is just kind of talking about how she's been wanting to prove herself for a long time now, and now she has the opportunity here tonight to become the AEW Women's Champion, to prove herself to the American audience like she did to all the European audience when, coming up in the business. And of course, because AEW is a little bit more watched around the world, she's wanting to prove herself to everyone around the world and give her, have everyone keep their eyes on her, and she wants to get that recognition that she feels like she's deserved for a long time now, and she's going to do it tonight by defeating the Bunny. This gives a 40 rating, not bad. The match itself gets 53. That's not too bad. It's hoping for a little bit better, but I'll take it. As in a decent matchup in 11:50 by pinfall, the Bunny defeats Kaylee Ray with a cherry popper to retain the women's world title. During the matchup, kind of an interesting moment, Britt Baker, Dr. Britt Baker that is, ran in and attacked Kaylee Ray, which kind of led somewhat to the finish. Like, it was not completely to the finish, but it was one of those things that Kaylee Ray looked like she had things under control. Rosemary distracted the ref, and all of a sudden Britt Baker came running in and attacked Kaylee Ray, which led to kind of the end of her attempt at winning there. And then the match went on for a little bit longer before it led to the Bunny retaining. So interesting to see why Britt Baker got involved. We'll have to see why Britt came out and attacked Kaylee Ray during this, but the Bunny does end up getting the victory in a 53 rated matchup to retain the women's world title. 51 rating from both of them here, as the the women's world title stays with the Dark Order. So we'll have to see who the next challenger is for the Bunny heading forward, and what's the issue with Britt Baker coming out and attacking Kaylee Ray. We'll have to see if if we can get some explanations next week on Dynamite. Speaking of next week's Dynamite, we get a rundown from Excalibur, where he's racing through everything. We do find out that Cody Rhodes will be in action. We find out that Kairi Hojo will be in action. Adam Cole will also be in action. And then 2 matches that are getting officially announced as of right now. Hikaru Shida will be going one-on-one with Mia Yim in a rematch of the first round of the AEW Women's World Title tournament a few months back. And then Chris Jericho will actually be in the ring going one-on-one with one half of the Thrill Seekers, Andrew Everett. So that should be interesting. A couple of pretty good matches there, as well as, seeing Rhodes and Kyrie and Cole in action. So that should be a pretty good Dynamite next week. Then before we get to the main, we find out that there is a backstage brawl happening between Kenny Omega and Brian Cage. That leads to Brian Cage standing tall. Omega's the one that's laid out on the ground, where Cage is the one standing tall. These two continuing to brawl with each other, continuing to argue with each other. It's going to have to come to an end at some point, but we'll have to see. 51 rating here for this segment. Lost heat for the storyline, but that's fine. We can make that up pretty easily. It's going to have to come to an end at some point. Also, hint, hint, Revolution happens in 4 weeks' time in the game. So, just a hint, hint. But 51 rating here for that. And then we move on to the main event of Dynamite Grand Slam, which gets a 79 rating. Holy hell. And About the Head, great wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd. Pac defeats Matt Sydal in 15-26 by pinfall to Shooting Star Senton to make defense number 1 of the AEW World Title. I thought he had defended the title once before that, but that might have just been a World Title Eliminator. That might not have actually been the title match. 79 rating for the matchup. 72 from Pac, 80 from Sydal. Gained heat for the storyline. Jake Hager at one point came out and was watching the match itself. There was a lack of psychology on display for this long, with these two for this long over, but that's fine. I'm not too worried about that. Just means that if I had done it, if either of them had a little bit more psychology, or if I maybe had done it a little bit shorter, maybe they would have had like a low 80s rating, but I'll still take a 79 as the main event, as Pac able to defeat Matt Sydal to retain the world title. 79 rating there, so we'll have to see, this is a clean victory, so we'll have to see if Sydal can earn himself another rematch for the title, or if someone else steps up to the challenge, steps up to Pac and faces him for that world title. Show ends with a 71 rating. Holy hell. I think that's our best Dynamite we've ever had. That's awesome. Increase our popularity in 47 regions. Let's freaking go. Let's freaking go. Dynamite Grand Slam indeed, as we just put on a hell of a banger of show. Granted, the opening contest and the main event definitely helped to really boost up the rating for the show, but hey, the rest of the show was really good. We didn't really have any, on Dynamite at least, we didn't really have any segments that were like bad segments, really. Like, I think the lowest rated segment we had was that Cody Rhodes promo, and that still got a 49, which wasn't bad. So, it's good to see that we're able to really have a hell of a show here in the Dynamite Grand Slam, the final Dynamite of 2019 in the game. Speaking of which, because it is the final Dynamite in the final couple days of 2019 in the game, next week's episode of AEW will not be the episode of Dynamite. It will be the episode of recap of 2019. We'll kind of be recapping, AEW. We'll look around at the rest of the wrestling world and see what's going on with it, all that kind of stuff. So it might be a little bit longer of an episode, but we're going to be going in depth with looking at AEW and looking at some of the rest of the world, which is why I'm going to hold off, because I was going to potentially, like on this episode, go and look at some of the wrestlers and see how they've progressed over the year, but I'm going to hold that off for next episode, so that way we can kind of all see it all right then with that. So, number 1 article of the night is that AEW was great, been drawing a lot of praise, really great stuff to see. Ratings wise, best rated show of the night, as we had 374,200 people watching, so that's not bad actually. That might be our best viewership of the night of the series as well, outside of pay-per-view. NXT had a 63 rating. They had Roderick Strong defeating D.A. Brewer, EC3, and Johnny Gargano to retain the North American title in the main event. Lucha Underground had a 56. They had Stu Bennett defeating King Cuerno and Chavo Guerrero Jr., which is an interesting match. NXT UK happened, and there is that. Also, the Rise show happened. I don't know if this is a weekly show or if this is an event, but the main event was Angelina Love defeating Genocide, so there is that. But that's going to do it for this episode. Like I said, we will look at the year in progression next week. For next week's episode, we'll kind of look at what all has happened in this save, what else happened in our company, all that kind of stuff, and see where things go from there. So thank you all for watching. Definitely appreciate the continued support for the series, for the channel, all that. And we will catch you next week for the recap of 2019.